I'm miserable, twisted in the sheets. 35 with a mattress on the floor. Society on Pine Street yesterday. I'm not crying, it's just my allergies. That was bullshit, just like my freedom was. I just needed time. Now my worldview is so negative. Without you, my life is bloomless, bloomless. Flowers don't grow since you went away. Ruthless, so ruthless. When she moved out, she took the bed frame. It's vulnerable in my head, and when you text me, I'm filled with dread. If it's freedom I'm all about, then why am I having these doubts? You're Stevie Nicks, I was your biggest fan. Now I'm Lindsey Buckingham out of the band. I wanna call you, but I know I can't, because you're no longer mine. Bloomless, bloomless. Flowers don't grow since you went away. Ruthless, so ruthless. When she moved out, she took the bed frame.
Very heavy.
Bad decisions, my self-righteousness. My true love was you. Got home from touring, you were right. Without you, my life. Bloomless, bloomless. Flowers don't grow since you went away. Ruthless, so ruthless. When she moved out, she took the bed frame. I can't do this, I can't do this. Every day without you is a living hell. Bloomless, bloomless. Flowers don't grow since you went away. You went away. You went away. You went away. You went away.
And we are live. How are you doing this Sunday afternoon, Ronnie?
I'm really excited to be here tonight, brother. Let's do this. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So we got together and we took a look at some of the things that TJump and Mr Sensible said in that recent debate, they're calling it now. It's supposed to be a conversation, but if they want to call it a debate, we'll take that. So we're going to go through some of the things that they said and show some of the absurdities of it tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny when we checked out all the stuff they were suggesting, where their evidence led. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to also talk a little bit about the Mazaroth, or the sky and the stars. What else have we got planned for tonight?
Well, let's see. What did we try last night?
Well, we got EZ Comet that's flying through the sky right now, right?
Yeah, so that's going on. We tried to see it last night. We weren't able to. I think I figured out the reason why, brother. We had it set to Timmins, Ontario, because we had been looking at your father's setup. And so, yeah, for us, it wasn't above the horizon. But tonight,
That's what
yeah, you were right. Tonight, maybe around midnight would be a good time to get up and take a look at it for us. So maybe we'll see it. I mean, a comet. These are supposed to be bad omens, right?
Yeah, the Satanists freak right out. They don't like comets. Stuff always takes place after comets. It's a sign in the heavens, right? It's this bright green fireball that's going across the sky. And there's, some parabolic understanding too, but we're going to keep it real basic and simple.
Yeah, so they say. We have yet to observe it for ourselves, but we're going to try. Tonight is our best opportunity as far as skies are concerned, clear skies. So for everybody out there, if you get the chance to spot this, if you can put eyes on it and your testimony, your witness that you saw it, that'd be cool. If you can record it, that'd be even better. Send us a link to it and we'll share it. If we can see it with our eyes, we will set up the camera and record with the P1000. So yeah, that's going on right now. What else, world event wise, anything got your attention right now?
I got a new mix coming out at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on the RJ Shine channel. That's gonna break some crazy new stuff, some new ground in that. As for world events, yeah, they had the Davos thing and the leaders all plotting against us in secret but openly. That sham took place. Other things, there was that the tanks. Big last week seemed to be that everybody needs to send their tanks to Ukraine, right, to fight big bad Russia. Yeah, there wasn't too much from the news in that way. What have you been seeing?
So I've been noticing a lot of attention being put on these Falcon X launches that Red's Rhetoric and crew is filming it. And then we have fake flat earthers. So Wide Awake, who is he's on the fake flat earth team. He's one of the the sun is circling, there's a dome, there's an ice wall. He was promoted by Jeranism, and he's put up footage identical to Red's Rhetoric. So there's big shams going on within, NASA. So Red's Rhetoric and crew, Astronomy Live. This is all Team NASA and SpaceX. And then you have this fake flat earther that's gone right into the mix and trying to validate it. So we're going to be showing a debunk of his footage that really ties into the big conversation that we had with TJump and Mr Sensible, and that is how far can we see. So the debunk of Wide Awake's footage is going to be that, I'm sorry, but we can't see that far, and we're going to go into some detail about that.
Great timing for all this to take place, right?
Yeah, I guess. Gives us something to talk about. So I've got some new types of graphics that I'm going to be sharing tonight that it has to do with the animation that was heavily in debate during this debate with TJump and Mr Sensible. And so there's new animations that are coming forth, but all of this really happened quickly. I mean, I did it all today, and so we can probably go into more detail at some point. It'll probably make it into some video as as a piece, but for tonight we're just going to be going through it for research purposes, because we made a bunch of claims. TJump, Mr Sensible, they made some claims, and we're going to be testing them now tonight. So I don't know, I've got a list of maybe 7 or 8 things that were brought up that we're going to be testing, showing the debunks of, that kind of stuff, and putting it up for your review, everybody. So this is all stuff that you're going to have to check and validate. Was TJump right? Was Mr Sensible right? Were the things that Jason and Ronnie shared tonight, were these things right? Well, we're going to give you a list of resources to go through to start your to start your research, right?
That's what we want to promote all the time. Research, research, research. John Kerry and the WF, they're just money, 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 money. We're research, 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 research. And that's what we love to do. We love to learn. We love to share it with everybody. This is a team setting. This isn't like we have fans. We don't believe that anybody should be fanatic about anyone except for the research and the truth of salvation. But I am looking forward to getting into all the stuff tonight. We've still got 2 more great songs to check out. Brand new music. And yeah, why don't we get into your screen share, brother? Take it away.
All right, cool.
Are we staying on camera or going off camera?
Well, we're at thumbnail right now, so I'm just getting myself situated. Let's see here. All right. I can't hear you, brother.
Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Solid Tank, Woke Review. We got Jody. We got who else? YD, of course. Prayers for YD and her health to heal soon. Always Yahawashai be with her. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. It's always a excuse me, a small group but a good group. Caster is also here, and everybody that watches this in the future. Shout out to you too. Thanks for tuning in. We've got so much more stuff to go through. I'm just trying to talk while Jason does what he does. I don't know what he's fixing or repairing or doing. I'm assuming that you guys can hear me in the chat. You could give me a 5 by 5. Let me know.
I'm screen sharing, brother. It's
Oh, no, not with me.
yeah, I got a screen share with you.
And then we'll be able to go on to the next section of the podcast. The time is now 6:13 p.m. Today is Sunday, January 26th. And thank you, everybody, for being here. We're really thankful. So are we going non-camera?
Yeah, we're not on camera now.
Okay, so I can put my camera away? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was just getting mine out of the way.
Sweet. All right, cool. Thank you, guys. We always appreciate everybody that tunes in with us live. That's always the best, you know. We like to do things live. It's fun. You know, and we're just glad that you guys want to tune in too. I'm just turning my devices off, and we'll get into the next section of the podcast. Jason's got some debunks, and you know, Jason, you're gonna have to show everybody. There's a couple of things that you tested out, and you know, you're gonna come back with maybe some new understandings tonight for everybody to see.
Well, the funny thing is, brother, is the understandings where I thought I was possibly wrong about something. It turns out I wasn't, so I'll show you how that worked out.
What do you mean? So you're telling me that you don't have to correct anything now?
No, don't have to.
To refine, we're always trying to be corrected, and that's what we always want. If anybody is tuning in and you see anything that we say that's not correct or that you've debunked or find evidence against, please leave it in the comment section below and share it with us, because we always want to stand on truth. We're not biased. The truth is the truth, and that's it.
All right, I wanted to move the search bar into the scene where I could show people. I'm showing the transcript along with the with the Hangout. So for people that don't know that the transcript exists, there's the 3 dots in the bar there where you can show transcripts. So the way you can find stuff within these Hangouts that we do is when you show the transcript, then you can bring up the search tool, the Command F on a Mac, and search for different things. And that's how I was able to sift through this and find these different sections to talk about. But the first section is at 6:15, and it has to do with the lunar nodes. And so I'm going to be saying something, and then TJump is going to come in with, let's take a look at Wikipedia, and oh boy, do I wish we had. So check this out. Equinox, that are the times that they say are the only times that lunar eclipses can take place. So we can go through it and analyze this.
Yeah, we can just go to the Wikipedia for lunar nodes. They have lots of pictures.
Debunk number 4. So what he said was we can just go to Wikipedia. And so I already had this graphic up here from timeanddate.com, and I didn't want to go to Wikipedia not knowing what was going to be there, but I definitely did afterwards to see what the graphics were that they have. And so if you go to Lunar Node under Wikipedia, this is probably the first graphic that TJump was looking at here. And this doesn't look like much, but if you scroll down just a little bit, you get this image right here, which is absolutely the perfect mirror image of the graphic that I was using from timeanddate.com. So this graphic right here, we're going to drill into it a little bit. And so here is the graphic just by itself. All right, so with the graphic like this, you've got, I just want to help people understand how to figure out what these different periods are in the year. And so when it's all in a straight line like this, this is the equinox. All right, this is the only, in heliocentrism, it happens one day in the spring and one day in the fall. It's usually March 20th or 21st and September 20th or 21st. So these days are set days within the Gregorian calendar. They only fluctuate by like a day or so. So you have a very specific time here at the equinox. And then here you've got the solstices. So the Earth, they don't have the graphics of the continents, so you can't really tell which way Earth is tilted here. But just notice how this is the high moon right here at new moon. And I'm going to show you here, if you flip the graphic, let's go to, if you take this graphic and flip it. Alright, so now you've got your equinoxes right here. And you've got, this would be your summer solstice and your winter solstice. And now this graphic is exactly like the one that I was sharing from timeanddate.com. So the crazy thing is if we had gone here, if we had looked at this on Wikipedia, we would have seen no eclipses. I mean, it literally says no eclipses, no eclipses.
No eclipses on the screen, literally right in front of you.
And the debunk was showing the eclipse on the solstice. It was literally right on the solstice. So I would have loved it. It would have been fantastic to have found that. If you look here at Wikipedia, a lunar eclipse can occur only when the full moon is near either lunar node. This whole section is about saying that they cannot have eclipses at the solstices. It's for him to have wanted to go to Wikipedia and for them to have this graphic here. Let me show you the graphic that I was sharing. This is the one from timeanddate.com. I do expand this. So if I jump ahead here a little bit, I tell them, here's here now I'm highlighting the solstices. So this is moon too high, moon too low. You can see that the tilt of Earth, the 5-degree tilt of the moon to the ecliptic plane, right here, June solstice, winter solstice. Now they acted like, because I added the word June solstice to help people figure this out, because I added the equinoxes, which one is the spring one, which one is the fall one, and then the winter solstice is over here under us to the right. They acted like this is just some sort of random snapshot. Well, this shows key specific days that are very measurable in our world. We know when the equinox is. We know when a solstice is. And we can test this in so many different ways. So they are absolutely, utterly smashed again. And he's the one that wanted to go to Wikipedia. I wish I had taken him up on it at the time, right? All right. Well, moving on, we can get into the Sky Live. So at 35 minutes, TJump brings up something.
Find
So
the
it's-
other ones with dates on.
They
all
want
you
a
have to
different
do is
graphic.
all
We
you have
need
to
to
do is
move
look at
on.
the tilt of the Earth. Yeah. So
We need to move on. They're not understanding the argument. That's fine. That's fine.
So-
they can
so
say they
here's a
disagree, and that's
website.
it.
Wait, here's a website, the Sky Live, where it has all of the orbits to scale, where you can type in the date and you can show exactly what's going to happen on those dates.
Yeah, we
in
can
the
do that too on a
heliocentric
flat
model
plane.
and the shadows.
We can
in
do
this
that
one,
too.
you can just put in the date of wherever you want on June and see. Oh, is there an eclipse there?
Put that in your chat.
Yes,
I'll save that website and see what anything else I can glean.
Cool,
We've
yeah,
got so many.
So the Sky Live. All right, what do you think this is all about?
Well, you know, is it going to give us put in a time and a date, and we're going to see an eclipse? Is that what it's for?
I'm going to show you here. The Sky Live, when you come here, you get current solar system configuration. And you can grab on this and you can spin it around like this. Now, if you count here, if the sun's in the center here, and then you've got Mercury, then Venus. So the blue one is Earth. And when you drill down here, I'm trying to get to Earth. So there, I'm limited out. I can't get any closer to Earth than this.
Oh, that's going to be a problem if we want to measure something.
And if I come around the other way and come at it this direction, so when I come in here, see, everything's always moving. Nothing ever stops. So if I try to drill in on this, it just disappears. You can't get to it. So just imagine if you're trying to zoom in to the moon. Right? Imagine if you're trying to see what the rise and set angles were from one of Jupiter's luminaries that accompanies it. Position yourself in one of those things and see when the rise and set of Earth would be from there, right?
Yeah,
So-
we can't.
This is
Not possible with this program. This is a fantasy world for these Kabbalists.
man, they just have this, if you let go of it, just this constantly turning background. And it's a toy. This is a toy. It's nothing's to scale. You can't drill into anything and see rise and set angles from any location here. You can't get to any of these things and test anything.
You see a comet? I see a comet there.
Yeah, that might
The comet, right?
ZTF, right?
Yeah, click on it. Does it give us the rise and set
No,
angle?
it doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you anything.
11 and 1? No.
There's nothing you can click on. There's nothing you can. No,
What kind of a crappy program is this he suggested? This is going to prove what?
it's just a toy. You see these.
Everybody, I'm sorry that we're wasting your time here. This is Kabbalism. They invented large spinning balls filled with emptiness around giant emptinesses, and then when you drill in, you get the exact same thing with their CGI of emptiness. This is not real. I don't think that's the comet either. It's way outside the Oort cloud in their fake reality. Is this the
Yeah.
one you can customize? You can like go to a planet and change its, atmosphere and rock content.
No, that's
That's-
that's the next one.
Oh, I'm more interested in that one.
All
That's
right, let's move on. So that's that one he shouts out in the
That
four.
was his defense, that he can model up the eclipses perfectly, and that was his perfectly modeled up eclipse program
Mm-hmm.
for everybody.
Yeah. Speaking of eclipses, we're gonna take a look at that in a little bit. Let's go out here to the 45-minute mark. And so he's going to shout out his other tool. That first one was not impressive. Let's see if he comes up with something better.
Heliocentric model, which means if in a computer I can make a heliocentric model where this happens, that proves you wrong.
All right, provide it to us. provided.
There's lots of them. I already did. I did earlier.
software.
I literally gave you
No.
an example of one earlier. There's lots of these. These exist. Just
We'll
go to a
we'll
solar
further
system
check out your website
model
out.
Send us
generator.
send us
These
the
are
link.
common.
We'll check
These
it
are
out.
extremely common.
And if we're moving
Go
off from this,
to
what I
a
would like to
heliocentric
see
model
is
generator.
But then all we need to use is Stellarium. And you guys are going to say debunked, right?
I don't know what that means.
Why
Let's-
even go
let's-
to...
yeah, Stellarium. Use that.
Right,
But
yeah.
what I would say is, how the hell can you explain an eclipse over a flat Earth?
Yeah, I've got a video that does it.
He's doing his research.
Keep moving on. Keep moving on. Let's keep going.
So-
this was just the intro.
Loves looking.
Yeah,
He's
this-
looking.
Yeah, this was
Yeah, he's doing his research.
Red's rhetoric
Space
and Sean Hufford.
Space engine.
They were
I heard
absolutely
Space Engine.
unable to respond
He
to
got all
any of
excited.
these.
Space Engine.
Space engine.
Sly Sparkane sent it to him, right? Sly was like, here, take this one. Or Mick Tooney.
So he shouted out Space Engine. Well, here's Space Engine. You can
Universe Simulator, it says.
play it on Steam, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So here's here's some of the previews of the game right here.
This was his next evidence that reality is basically heliocentric universe, right? This is his defense.
Yeah, so he's saying that
Look at that sun. Wow, okay. Oh,
they've modeled the
that's Jupiter to Saturn.
entire universe to scale.
What? That's
Yes.
This is the entire universe to scale. I don't think so, because there's not enough pixels on my screen to even see any of it. You know, the screen that I'm looking at would have to be half the size of the realm. It would be no. I'm not even going to say it.
But Ronnie, you don't
Earth there, is that a black hole?
know how computers work, do you?
Oh man.
Yeah, that's
Represent anything in this model correctly.
what they're saying about us.
What is this? Like,
Here.
We're gonna what?
It's got all the data.
Okay,
Right.
that's all controllable. Are you doing?
This is the scale. No, this is the
That's the scale.
to scale.
And all we would see in the sky is the sun.
Here's the universe map.
That's the universe. It's a sponge. That's a brain, whatever they say, right? It's one bubble of the universe, and then you go into a black hole into another bubble.
Fully customizable planets.
Fully customizable. What kind of a game do we have here?
And
Customize orc clouds,
you're gonna need a ship to check it all out.
intergalactic
Fly an armada.
You can have a whole armada.
Yes.
Wow! Rediscover the solar system. Wander through space.
Explore the universe.
This is his defense. Oh, we're going into a black hole. Ah! We're like 1,000 years older now.
Space engine.
Wow, this is his defense for his heliocentric beliefs. A video game.
This is it. So here's some stills from the game. Right?
Okay, let's measure the aurora borealis there.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Let's
There we go.
measure the light years between these things here. Right? That'll tell you how many billions of years ago.
is that the Andromeda and the Milky Way, and then the sister or whatever that blew up and born these two solar systems or whatever? They're going to collide, right?
Do you think
Big crunch and the big chill.
that last one? Do you think they have real-time auroras on all the planets?
Probably, right? / randomize aurora. Boom, it's done. YD, he lives in a computer game world. Yeah, there's something wrong with his processor. I'll tell you that, right? If he thinks this is somehow proof of reality, he's
Do you think they have every one of these asteroids mapped?
those are correct spots. The Oort cloud asteroids,
Real-time data?
real-time data. No, I don't. Are those rivers?
Yeah, rivers on these planets. Look at this one. It's got it like a
Iopa. That's Iopa. That's a distant moon of Jupiter.
it's got like a demon face to it.
Of
Right?
course, they got to put demon faces on things. This
But-
is his evidence of heliocentrism.
Don't forget the spaceships.
I wonder who made that one.
This must have been taken from Elon's car.
Yeah. Okay. Is that a star in the background too? Oh, you can see stars now from up there, huh? Wow, they added that too.
Yeah, look at this gameplay. I mean, wow.
You get to fly that?
Full terrain on everything in the universe.
It looks like the graphics from that Fox game like 20 years ago. This is pathetic.
It's really bad.
This
So-
is proof of heliocentrism.
Man, there's one more video here if you want to watch it.
We're gonna see it.
Let's see here. Oops. Started.
Wow, I'm getting all excited.
I know, this is
Exciting music.
it's pretty epic.
Wow. Heliocentrism. This is exciting.
Just imagine yourself on a spaceship.
You're now tuned into.
Oh, it even had. Oh, I hate it when it had camera flying with the comet there. That's really? Top level.
That's interesting.
One play. See?
Oh, come on. Wow, look at that. Someone's eye. It's like a brown eye. Oh. That's the moon? Oh, what's happening to Earth? Oh, no. That looks bad. That looked disastrous. There was like a giant hole in Earth. What are they trying to do to these people?
That's a solar eclipse, brother, and we're gonna be checking one out coming up. It's gonna be cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. I truly feel bad for anybody that listens to a guy like TJump or Mr Sensible, and he shouts these things out, and they don't actually go check and use their brain. Right? They just think, oh yeah, he wouldn't shout it out like unless if it was obvious proof. It's
right. Exposed.
It's so bad.
Space engine.
Yeah, these are
Distant galaxies.
video games. Just video games with
reaches of the universe.
animations, but he acts like they're real.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
All right.
Changing slides.
I do have one retraction to make tonight.
Okay, retraction. We got to get the retraction sound effect.
Yep. So let's go to the 56-minute mark.
56 minute. Let's do it. Thank you everyone for tuning in.
All right.
In the river where it flooded. So this is we got to agree on the curvature formula real quick, guys.
Yep.
And tell us what it is.
Do you understand that 8 inches
Tell
per
us what
mile
it is.
squared does not give you enough curvature?
It doesn't give you a curve at all. It gives you a parabola.
Well, it gives you a slope.
All right. So it had been so long since I had done this video and really gone through it. I forgot that this scene right here was me demonstrating 8 inches per mile. Right. So I was making the point right here. When I was young, I asked my parents how come I couldn't see the curve of Earth. And my mom gave me the response real quickly, because it's only 8 inches per mile. And she didn't add the squared part, just said 8 inches per mile. So 8 inches per mile is a slope. And that's what I was demonstrating here, is it has to be an exponential formula. And he is correct. It does make a parabola. All right. So I said it was a slope. I was arguing against 8 inches per mile, right? That's right here is the slope. So I was saying it has to be a more complex formula than just 8 inches per mile. And the point that I was making, that it does come short, all you have to do is take the radius, 3959 times 3959, right? And then
I always say 5,000 feet just to be kind to the little tiny spinning ball.
Yeah, but if you multiply those two numbers together and then times it by 8, that gives you your curvature in inches, and you'll find that you're like 1,000 miles short of what you need. So the parabola,
Short.
the parabola shape is like this. And so yeah, with the 8 inches per mile squared, you do get a parabola, everybody. So I retract the slope. Well, actually, I just didn't realize at the time when I was looking at the graphic that what I was arguing against is that it cannot just be 8 inches per mile. So I stand corrected. It's a parabola, but I knew that anyway.
Yeah, well, you just have to continue the slope longer, and then you're not saying go negative 8 inches per mile squared, so that would form a curve. What we're forming is the arc that it makes if you continue to build a slope forever, is what we're suggesting here theoretically. But yeah, I understand both sides. It's good. Good on you to come out and you know recant.
Yeah. Well, it
Oh, I see where we're at now. Some guitar strings on the screen.
yeah. So this section right here is we're going to spend a little bit extra time on because this was the footage that Mr. Sensible brought up, right?
Yeah, could I lead in? One thing that I thought was strange was the way that Mr. Sensible presented his case. So if he wanted to be clear and honest, what he should have told us was, I launched a balloon, and here is a snapshot from the footage. Or went to the video and showed us it. The whole way that he delivered his presentation here, I just thought was awkward. It didn't come across as, oh, I finally believe the earth is flat. I've seen people do this multiple times with an image, right? So my thing that I wanted to state right up front is that why didn't he develop go to the video, show us the exact moment that he proved that the earth is a sphere, show us the camera and what type of lens it had. And none of this was the way that he did it. It was so dishonest.
Absolutely. So I'm showing you from TJump's footage because we're off to the side here and you can see the altitude. So the altitude is 35,162. This is the moment that Mr. Sensible saw fit to say that he's got the proof of curvature, even though nobody else in the world has ever come out and said they've seen the curve. So he's very unique. And so the altitude here, we can now look and find in his footage that same altitude. So here's from his video. This is Mage, full uncut, 127 feet, 38 kilometer high altitude balloon flight from Mr. Sensible. This was done October 27th of 2020. It's got a little over 10,000 views on it. So here we're looking for a similar altitude, 35,202. We're pretty close. Let's just go backwards here a little bit. What was our height? It was 35,162. So up a little bit. Alright, so this is basically the shot that he was using right here. And so I've downloaded his video and I brought it into Final Cut so we can take a look at a couple of things. And let's jump over to Final Cut.
Let's do a background music change. Get a chance. And thank you everyone for tuning in. YD had a good, she said, better question is, if he is the only person alive with proof of a curve, why isn't everybody blasting his evidence everywhere? Right? It's a good question. I agree with her. I believe the answer is because it's not proof of any curvature. Neil deGrasse Tyson says you have to go much higher than 35,000 feet. The earth is big, he said. And then you come into him and you say, well, 3959 radius is tiny. It's all of a sudden, it's a small world after all, isn't it? Right? If it's a ball, it's tiny, 3959. I usually give the ball, I say 5,000. Because you know how hard it would be to actually calculate the center of a sphere with all, jagged edges and this and that while rotating, spinning, flying? It'd be very difficult. What do you got going on, Jake?
All right. So I've got a couple of lines here where if you take a look the strings that Mr. Sensible has across here, if you put a straight line in from Final Cut, you'll see that his camera is crooked. All right, so we've got to make an adjustment here, because you can clearly see on the left hand side to the right hand side that the camera is crooked to the string, right?
Well, yeah, he's rolling around in the sky.
But still, the camera to the housing, to the frame here, the camera is rotated. So
Yeah.
I just want to let everybody know that what I'm doing is I'm adjusting that for that crookedness. So let me bring this line up here, where this one is 0.6 degrees tilted, and what it shows is that the string itself, the top string, is pretty straight. It's just crooked. It's tilted 0.6 degrees. Not a big deal. Now if I take that same string now and pull it down to the bottom string, right, now you're going to see that when the ends are totally lined up, we've got a good old sag in our bottom string.
Sure.
So the top string is straight. The bottom string has got a good old sag to it. Now we can look at as much of this footage as you feel that we need to do, but the back camera, this wide cam, is a GoPro, and it's really got the best footage out of all the footage. Unfortunate that it's made small here, but one of the things that you're going to notice is right here with this wide angle lens, you've got this curve here in the wide cam, and so that will be convex the way it is right now when the camera is pointing down. When the camera is pointing up, it's going to be concave. This line will actually swoop up the other direction here. And so these cameras, they can be rectilineated to get rid of that distortion. You don't have to have that distortion, and there are lenses that you don't have that distortion. He says that the front-facing camera is a distortionless camera, and I'm going to show you which camera he used. It might be, it might not be. It's hard to tell. But the actual real debunk of the footage right here is that if we just go ahead a little bit in this footage, let's go. We're watching that wide cam up here. We're going to watch as the camera's swinging around, and instead of being
concave. There's no background music either.
we just can't hear it. Should be, well, no, did it not start?
No, it's not started.
Oh, it's not in this scene. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Let's just keep going then. It's fine.
Yeah. I didn't add it to this scene. So if you just watch the curve here, it goes from nice big high curves. We're looking up into nowhere. And so here, if he was honest, and we went through, if this was all true, honest, highest quality footage, not having an agenda that you're trying to support, this is probably the best shot that you can get out of the entire thing that he has, because it's constantly twisting and wobbling. And this frame right here is probably the most accurate frame that you could possibly use. And this doesn't show a curved earth. And one of the things that you got to understand is that this is a narrow field of view if this is a 90-degree lens. All right, so you're not seeing much to compare with. This is a narrow field of view. And you've got some glare. The auto exposure right here on this camera is not that good. The GoPro does much better with keeping everything from being overexposed like this. So when you have high contrast areas that the auto exposure is not dealing with well. I mean, sometimes this just looks like a pure blob of white, like there's no cloud structure whatsoever. So this is a lower quality camera that has auto exposure issues, and none of this is proof of curvature. We can go through all of his footage and watch the wide cam. At times this is going to curve up the other way. He's got it weighted so that it's mostly hanging down, so it's mostly going to be showing a curved horizon. See, the camera is tilted up right here, and that's what creates the curve down. If this was absolutely level, then you're going to have a straight line on both sides. There's a way to...
It's a poorly designed device, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you can't use this as like scientific proof of anything. It's just bobbing and weaving around, and you watch these waves up and down, and when it goes into its extreme, see, now you're starting to get an actual shot here where you see the wide cam flattened out. And is there any proof of curvature here? No, the camera's not quality enough to have a distinct horizon. I can see a better horizon in this tiny little image from the GoPro. But fortunately, other people have done this in high quality stuff. Right? We don't have to rely on Mr. Sensible and Mage, and this isn't the only proof in the world what we see at these elevations. And so I just go through and analyze it yourself. When you see a swoop up like this, which way is the camera positioned, and what is it that you can see? It's not that good a footage that he has. So if we go back to the camera, we can let's see here. Should have our background music back. The camera that he says it is this Firefly 8 SE 90 degree. And so you look up the camera, and they've got it on Amazon for $175. There's really no information here about the 90 degree.
$175, huh? Proof
Yeah.
the Earth is a sphere. Wow, he went cheap on that.
Yeah, it's missing a whole bunch of information. It says 90 degrees distortionless, but 170 degree touchscreen. So this is, I think he's from the UK or something. So here's a site that you can get it 90 degree lens, no distortion, or 170 degree lens. So it looks like they have two different versions. And this 90 degree lens is supposed to be no distortion. Unfortunately, there's no information about it. It doesn't tell you anything about what the focal length is and field of view, anything like that. So it's not real well spec'd out. I did find it being used on YouTube. Somebody used it to film a shot like this, where, so this is the camera set up to a scope thing where they're showing where you can record the view from a scope. So you would want to have a camera that didn't have a bunch of distortion, right? So I'm not saying it's a terrible camera, and it might be designed to give you the least amount of distortion possible, but it's not a great camera. You could see that the auto exposure wasn't good, and you end up with a narrow field of view too. So if you look at distortion under optics, I think we both called it out when we were in that conversation, that barrel distortion. So we're pretty familiar with these things. When you have a wider field of view, you're going to end up with barrel distortion. So fisheye lenses give you barrel distortion. And this is a depiction of what barrel distortion is going to do. So it starts to make like a sphere type image, right? And that's what they do. So what we have to decide is, what is the focal length of the human? And you're going to have a hard time finding one consensus answer on it, but what you'll find is that it seems to be about 50 millimeter focal length. So if a camera lens says it's 50 millimeters, that's basically the field of view that most people see with their eyes. So if the number is less than 50 millimeters, you're going to have a fisheye lens, and the smaller the number that gets, the more radical the fisheye becomes. Now above 50 degrees, you are going to now all of a sudden what we're talking about is zoom. You're zooming now, and you've got a narrower field of view, and you will end up with pincushion distortion. I don't know if anybody's heard about pincushion distortion before, but that's the effect that you're going to have as you're zooming with magnification. It's going to have this effect. And if you go through all the information, you're going to see that it can be corrected for. So here's an image right here. It says uncorrected barrel distortion at 26 millimeters. And if you take a look at the image here, you can see that with that lens, it looks like these panels are sort of bowed. Alright? And then if you look at an image that's been corrected, now all of a sudden those bars are nice and straight. So we can take footage from fisheye lenses that give us a wider field of view, but we know that they have to be corrected for. It has to be rectilineated. And if not, it's going to be distorted. So they've got all the calculations. It's very easy to do. Basically, every lens has a calculation for how to get rid of the distortion in it. And all the different softwares that do it. Let's see. I thought there was some other pictures here. Maybe not. The point is that, let's go back to his video. His front-facing camera here, it's supposed to be a 90-degree camera, is low quality, and it goes through tons of exposure issues. If you watch his footage, this bright area right here is absolutely 100% blown out. And then as you move away from the sun, the auto exposure starts to do some compensating and show you some detail. But of course he had to focus on a shot where it's completely blown out like this. It's not quality footage. It's really not,
because you can find spots where it's perfectly flat. Right? So which one do you want to pick? It's like a card trick, and the whole thing was dishonest. I think you've done a great job explaining to people. We're approaching the midpoint song break. I think you've done a good job showing people basically how the curvature and barrel distortion and these other things that happen. I like the fact that you brought up the rectilineator software. So you'll notice with Eric Dubay and David Weiss, a lot of their footage that's from a high altitude has been through this same program that Jason brought up, rectilineator software feature, where it takes something that's curved or a fisheye lens and it just flattens it out perfectly, showing what our eyes would see.
See, the next section is going to be some really cool footage for us to take a look at. High altitude balloon footage. You haven't seen this yet, and it's pretty neat. Shoot.
Then do the song break.
You want to see it now?
Yeah, well, I mean, it goes with this section, really. After
Yeah.
we're done with that, then we'll do the break. I think that sounds right.
All right. So looking for high altitude footage, this title right here is Eclipse Totality from Stratosphere 360 degree video.
Really?
So here we have high altitude footage, and guess what, everybody? It's 360. We can look anywhere we want. All right. So this right here, and he's He's got the camera set up where you can see these instruments. We can look all around. So this is some cool stuff. I've downloaded this video. I highly recommend anybody that this is some of the coolest stuff you're ever going to see. This Brandon Scary, 7 subscribers. This has only got 188 views. It's 4K. 4K 360 footage.
Wow. Of an eclipse.
Of an eclipse. And look who's here. All right, so
wow, Z Proxy gets a shout out. Huh? He films stuff.
So let's check out. This is towards the beginning of the footage, and I want people to get familiar with it. So we'll go for a couple minutes here. I'm just going to show you around. So you've got your gauges here. We're up above the clouds. You can look down, and there's a haze to look through. Turn all the way around here. So as this goes up, this type of footage, just 360 footage, I mean, this is the way to show your horizon. Right?
This is great, yes.
All right, so we've got the sun up here. You can see where the seam is, where this footage is seamed together here. And the glare doesn't, you can see the difficulty that it has here. As the camera moves around, the sun's going to, go from one side to the other. It's only at these seams that it has an issue like that. It'll keep moving out and around here. So we can keep track of the sun above this. And remember, we're going towards a totality. So remember, brother, keep your eye on these light flares, what they're doing. Remember, we went to the total solar eclipse, and so here's a balloon up above the clouds, and it's right at about the 5-minute mark that we're going to start seeing the totality. But it's a little after 3 minutes that we start seeing some pretty peculiar stuff. Something that you'll see much better as time goes on. So right there, where's the first little flicker?
It got dark. I see that it's nighttime. Interesting. The light from the sky is gone. That's cool.
So watch here. It's totality hasn't really started yet, but the sun is starting to change the way it's shining. They're starting to, every once in a while, pick up a little light over here that's going to become something.
Oh, feels like it got brighter now.
We're drifting around.
So this device actually took account into trying to keep it level.
Yeah, it's
This could,
there. So watch this. Watch this little light. It's going to come through onto the other side. The sun's starting to darken more. Remember, we got about another minute to go before we get into totality. But now we've got an accompanying light here that,
luminary.
yeah, it's going to be with us the whole time. So remember, in heliocentrism, the moon goes across the face of the sun at a new moon, and that's what creates the
Tonight, right?
yeah.
New moon tonight.
So this is starting to get, as the sun's starting to change, this is getting more prominent.
Yeah, I see that luminary. Here are some planes following the totality path, right?
Yeah, they do.
Well, imagine this. How close was he to those planes? Interesting.
All right, so watch this now. We're getting close to 5 minutes, and you can clearly see that the sky is really starting to darken. This is starting to show, and we're going to start to see. Look at this
shadow. Nice. That looks so cool.
So look at what the clouds are doing here. It's this cloud is blacked out. You have this. It looks like a river. You have this narrow path right here. This is where totality is starting. And you've got this light accompanying the sun. Let's get it turned. You can see that they're moving in sync with each other. Now the shine of the sun is completely gone.
Yeah. Yeah, the luminary is fixed with the sun.
Yeah. So you've got those two luminaries, and now we're at totality. And look at what we got here.
That's crazy, right?
You got this. Look at that.
Level. See that? Had a water level up there. So that you can tell what up and down is. That's what that device does. And a plumb bob tells you what is plumb.
So here's
Parallel, perpendicular to the horizon.
here's your totality, and what you see now, which is recordable by this camera, all right, is this is the sun, and we've got this luminary that when the brightness of the sun went away, this one showed, and it's near the sun. It's moving
Yeah.
with the sun.
Clearly. How could you miss that? It's obvious.
But that's it. But that is it. That
It's great.
is what you see in a totality.
It's over a flat Earth, huh? How about that? Remember, Mr. Sensible asked us, show us some proof of how an eclipse would happen over a flat. Here it is. Behold.
This is what it really looks like. Yeah,
Flat
so
Earth, yeah. You can tell the circle of sight and how far it is and the size of totality. It's pretty good. It's too bad there wasn't discernible land features on the ground. You could measure things too, but this is still great.
well, and the other thing is he doesn't give away how high it is. We know we're above the clouds, but he doesn't say how high it is. So
That's great. Wow. Excellent work by Brandon Scaria. Scarai?
yeah, this is what is real. All right, this isn't CGI. You can see that it's just 360 footage that this is what was recorded.
And he kept it level.
That's how an eclipse happens, everybody, and that's what it looks like from above Earth.
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. You know, you guys, we are so privileged to be alive right now to actually get a view like this. Okay. It's been 6,000 years, right? Since the Cave of Treasures. Okay. We never got to get up here and look at this. For me, it's just beautiful. You know, I've always loved learning about this realm, and now we're up here seeing an eclipse in a 360 camera. It was great. This was the one that we were at in Alto Pass, right?
Yeah.
August 17th? No. Was it?
Well, this was published October 1st, 2017.
But we were there. We were right in the cross of totality. It was awesome. And yeah, it's great to see how things have gone since that great sign in the heavens. And there's going to be more. And, you know, I like that footage. Great. I thought that was exciting, everybody.
Yeah,
Round of applause.
he does have one more. So this one is done in panorama. And so this one is,
Field of view. This is our largest circle of sight.
instead of being 360, and you do see the sun up here without the glare and the accompanying light.
Wow.
Right?
So that's the 360 flattened out.
Yeah, circular. So that's the reason why it bobbles like this.
It gives you both perspectives, 360 degrees. And it just, the left side, actually, everything you'll see continues from one side of the screen to the other. See, boom, there comes the sun and the moon and its accompanying star, just like that. Did everybody witness how it came from one side of the screen to the other? I just want to point that out. Is it going to do it again? This is great footage.
Isn't it?
This is great, yeah.
It's got the audio. The planes fly through this area, right?
Yeah, well, they were following it, right? They were doing good photography and getting data and stuff. And
You see how localized these areas are of, you know, just these clouds are being darkened in this path.
it's incredible.
And the sun is still right there. And there's that light right there. We're bobbing around together. I think another plane comes in here. Yeah. So you can see now the sun is coming out of totality here. You can see how it's starting to brighten up. And this plane over here is probably going to have a path where it's in totality. Yeah, so I'm sorry, but Mr. Sensible did not prove that there's a curve. This footage right here, it's a plane in all directions. It is. You want to take a break, brother?
Yeah, the next song coming up, Geneva, a Strange Mod. We're going to do like a little bit of a throwback. We don't always like to play the current dancey type music. Sometimes we like to do throwbacks to psychedelic and different types of rock. We love all kinds of music here on this team. We just wanted to share it with you guys. This is a tune from Gliders. I'll put the link to the song in the chat. Let's go to it, bro.
That was fantastic. We are back. All right.
Okay.
So, moving along with the things that came up in the debate at 2:12, he brought up a meme, and the response that we got from TJump was special. So, let's see here.
What did you say? It was special?
Special, yeah.
I caught that. Let's go into it.
All right, so here you were.
Discovered in 1677 by Robert Plot.
Oh, so this is all incorrect, you're telling me?
Yes, your meme is not factually correct. Surprising, I know. Like all facts on the internet are true, but typically memes not.
Okay, so we'll do the back check, and we'll you send me who you think it was and your evidence.
Robert
that he was the first
Plot,
one.
P-L-O-T, is credited with discovering the first dinosaur bone.
Oh,
All right. So Robert Plot. Let's go to Wikipedia and let's see here. Natural history and chemistry. Plot had already developed an interest in systemic study of natural history. Plot began studying, collecting artifacts throughout the nearby countryside. In this work, he described and illustrated various rocks, minerals, and fossils, including the first known illustration of a dinosaur bone, which he attributed to a giant human, later recognized as the femur of a megalosaurus, but believed that most fossils were not remains of living organisms, but rather crystallizations of mineral salts with a coincidental zoological form. So, the guy that he's crediting as being the first guy to discover a dinosaur bone was the first guy to draw a picture of what he thought was a giant human, but they say is a dinosaur. So
They said it was a megalosaurus. Sorry. That's what it says.
all right, so you really don't have to read much more. The favorable reception to his findings not only earned him the nickname the Learned Dr. Plot, but also led to his election into the Royal Society of London. So the Royal Society of London is a Freemasonic organization that acts as the arbiter of whatever is scientific, right? So they loved him. He drew a picture of a bone, and then they ended up calling that the first evidence. So a picture.
They hadn't invented dinosaurs yet. The meme that I had on the screen was showing the guy who did invent dinosaurs. Right? And then, lo and behold, they started finding the bones.
Right. So you handled it perfectly, brother, because you understood that this is when the word dinosaur and all that was invented. So, yeah, it was a picture that Robert Plot had, and he's a Freemason. They give him credit for it, right? That's how they do that kind of stuff.
For his drawing.
For his drawing. So the next section was stars at night. So that's 223, 11.
Higher up it is, right? So if there's something directly above you, it doesn't matter how far away it is. Your vanishing point, it can be.
So then why is it that when we went up in our balloon-borne experiment on our last podcast on Sunday dealing with satellites and planes, why is it that we didn't see any of the stars when we got up into the sky?
I don't
When
know.
you go
Were
to a certain
blind?
elevation, why did the stars all disappear? TJ? Well, interestingly enough, though, when we were up on that last one, we could see an accompanying luminary with the eclipse.
Yeah, with the eclipse only, though.
I didn't see any other stars, but I did see that one.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, and I remember seeing it when we were on the ground, too.
Mm-hmm.
Jump.
Wait, what?
After
what is
40,000
this?
feet,
The stars
there are no-
disappeared at night. When did this?
There
happen?
are, when you go in a plane, stars disappear at 40,000, lower than 40,000 feet. They're completely gone. Go ahead and verify it. Test me, prove me right.
Do stars disappear when you are in a plane?
All right. I did the search, too.
Uh-oh.
Except what I typed was, why can't you see the stars from airplanes at night? And the funny thing is the first answer, Q&A, Seeing Stars, the New York Times. When you fly on commercial jets at night, why can't you see the stars out the window? And why are there no stars in photographs taken in space by the astronauts? Answer, the answer in each case is that there is too much light in competition with a faint glow from the distant stars. So,
Light.
too much light. That's the answer that is officially given as to why you cannot see the stars. So, we're not crazy. We didn't just make up that you can't see stars at night. It's a well-known thing. In fact, if you search for it, you're going to get the answer from the New York Times.
TJump must have missed that on his little Google searches he was doing, or somebody. Yes, you can. I filmed them, he said. And then when we asked him for said information and evidence, he didn't have it.
Yeah, so they talk about having to shield the light from your camera. So they say that the light inside the cabin of the plane,
Oh, yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, the light problem persists in routine pictures taken on the shuttle and the space station as
Of
well.
course, that's what I said. Where are your pictures of the stars from the moon? Oh,
The sensitive space cameras used for serious research are another matter. So this is their explanation of why they're able to supposedly see stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because they can't actually see it. So, yeah.
There's if only we had more time, because there's all more searches you could type in. Why didn't we have stars in the pictures from the moon? Another good one that we'll probably touch upon sometime is the Peltdown Man. It was evolution stuff that came up, but we're not going to get into that. You've got your presentation prepared for tonight.
Yeah, well, the thing that T-Jump's going to say is, no, so he's going to search and say, I've seen it. I've seen time-lapse photography, right, from airplanes at night. And so here's what he's referring to. And best airplane seat, 4K amazing airplane and satellite views on a time-lapse night flight, Lisbon to Brussels. So let's take a look at what we see here. All right.
It's flat.
We're looking for stars, right?
Yeah.
Lots of blue haze. Don't see any stars yet.
The blue atmosphere, right?
Blue atmosphere. Some chemi haze. All right, so start paying attention to the lights that you see on the ground, and think about flying over this area. There was a cut right there.
I see some stars.
Here comes the stars. All right, so we've got some ship that's supposed to be zooming around out here. All right. These stars are crisp. There's not a wiggle or a smear in them. And watch the movement. Watch the movement of the plane, because here's that ship that's supposed to be going back. Here's the coastline. Now watch the lights. Now notice right here that there's stars well before we get to land here. So in the masking right here, this isn't masked out. And what you're going to see now is, as we fly into this is a purely digital effect.
Yeah.
Right? There's no ground in here. These are just lights. And watch. We've got all these planes flying around here, but the stars, not a blur in them. Remember time-lapse photography is it's a long exposure picture stitched together. It's a bunch of stills stitched together. So start watching these. There's supposed to be cars moving around. There's no ground here. These are just digital lights. Oh, did you see that?
Must be.
Did you see that? We'll go back here.
The cut? I saw the cut.
There's a cut, and then there's an overlap. You can actually see it's doubled.
Yeah.
Do you see where
Yeah, I see it.
the two layers are doubled here?
This is fantasy world.
No, but this is how they do it. You can see the double layers here. I'm gonna play it again. Now, there's some crazy turns coming. Stars don't smear at all while it's turning. We're getting look at these turns. All right, so get these little hooks. Everything here is turning. Now we're coming in for a landing, right? This.
You got to keep the what is it? 2 white and 2 red, or you're dead, and 3 white and 1 red. You're okay. How did it go? You're alive.
Just notice here that this is pure empty space right here. It's not just darkness. You see this spot show up? Let's go back.
I see it. Isn't that a water feature?
All right.
It's Brisbane
You just-
Bay. Are we in?
So this is still empty space. This is all just digital lights coming in. And what happens is once it sets down and the lights come in, then all of a sudden the background fades in. But they have these digital lights all the way around here. And this is just a computer overlay, right, with digital. So there is no footage of stars.
That's the only one, right?
No, there's others like this. YouTube's got some guy, big popular channel that supposedly took a picture of the Milky Way out of an airplane window. And he even has to have an explanation video for it, and he's a liar. He's a liar. Nobody took a still picture of the Milky Way from an airplane. It's never happened. So this is another major fail on his part. We brought up that you don't see stars, right, when you get up in a commercial flight. This is 30,000 feet and up. No stars. They're not there. Should have done the research, T-Jump. No, he's got to say it's there. So
Yeah, he wants to believe CGI. Let him.
now the next section is sort of going after Wide Awake now. Did you see what Wide Awake put out?
Pertaining to the rocket launch from 100 miles away.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this
Right.
is a fake flat Earth shill that Falcon Heavy on 115. He says filmed from over 100 miles away. From over 100 miles away. He's going to put out this footage where he's he's showing his horizon with this building in front of him. Then he's going to let's see. Alright, so he's got the audio synced up. This is from his video. And he's supposedly zooming in.
He's zooming in from 100 miles away on the rocket here.
100 miles away. And it gets clearer. It gets way clearer than this. It goes up, up. Let's see here. Let's jump ahead a little bit. Alright, so he's 100 miles away, and now at this point, it's turned over, and it's going sideways, right? It's supposed to be going away from him.
Look at how close he is to it. Has anyone ever filmed? I'll wait. I'll calm myself down.
Well, just wait, there's separation coming up.
Booster separation. Nominal. He's got the NASA voice on. Everyone's got her synced up. Oh, there it goes.
There it goes. There's-
Wow.
so he's got the psh, psh,
You
squirts.
can clearly see the boosters.
He's got the whole shot. There's the
Nice and clear. Really clear. Wow. This is
100 miles away.
look at how clear that is. Hear it out. Listen here, everybody.
He's got all three.
Let me rant. I'll tell you this right now. Please indulge me this, Wide Awake. I hope you can hear me. Why don't you do me a favor, Wide Awake, and pull your camera out and zoom in on an airplane from 100 miles away, you clown.
Exactly.
Ridiculously retarded this is. Has anyone ever zoomed an airplane in from 100 miles away, Jay? How far can you see an airplane with your zoom technology on your P1000 that you've got?
Well, we're gonna go into how far you can see. We're gonna look at it.
Miles, you cannot zoom an airplane into the horizon on 100 miles. You cannot.
Yeah. So this just goes on and on. He's got the whole thing. He's got all the squirts, squirt, psh, 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 psh. 100 miles away.
Yeah, they made a huge mistake when they rendered their CGI and didn't take into the perspective of how things diminish in totality. This is stupid. If you look up in the sky, like we have tons of birds here, a bird that's barely even 1,000 meters at most, and that's a lot, away from another bird, it diminishes in totality by a lot. You could barely see the second bird. And this is 100 miles. So if you have a booster that's 200 feet tall, in 100 miles, there's no way you would be able to zoom it into your vision. It's so retarded that they put this out, but here they go, right? Jeranism's boy Wide Awake coming out. I filmed something from 100 miles away.
All right, so here's how he transitions his footage back together. So this is supposed to be coming down 100 miles away. He's keeping it.
Oh.
Oh, so now he's, you see, now he's on his zoom back out mode. So in this move right here, now so it's much smaller, he's zooming back out. Oh. So he's zoomed out. He can't see it. He can't see it anymore, right?
Lost it in the pink. Oh, I see something at the top of the screen.
Oh, yeah, there it comes. He found it.
There it goes. That's an amazing zoom. 100 miles.
Two of them. So he went from not being able to see it.
And then they're both there in the pink haze.
And so they create these little psh things, right?
Unbelievable, man. I guess we can zoom in on planes 100 miles away now. No problem. The high altitude ones, right?
And now when he zooms out of this,
It's gone. It's just faint lights. It's all over now.
that's it.
CGI end.
You can't see the psh psh
And he's
anymore.
probably got the NASA girl. And burn the boosters are burned back level stage nominal. And the boosters have landed. They didn't use the barge for this one, huh? The I Still Love You ship.
Yeah, so reading the comments here is so telling. It, oh, look at Sky Free is in here. Wow. Great capture, David. Very well done. This is exposing the whole team right here, everybody.
But did anyone ask him how he was able to zoom in 100 miles away? We the only people that are asking, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I check you can't zoom in on a plane at 100 miles away, no?
So he's making this out to be real, and all these other people are coming in acting like it's real. Then you have some people adding to it saying, "I saw it from Jacksonville," right?
Yeah.
And then you see, here's a channel that Where's Wally. He put this all together. So you've got no fanfare tried to debunk globe, but proves globe instead, and yeah, so you have Astronomy Live, Red's Rhetoric, and now Wide Awake, all together.
NASA employees, right, that are guised as citizens.
And Wolfpack.
Wolfie.
Yeah.
Wow, everybody's in on this one.
So what they've done is they've synced it all up. So
Yeah, with the NASA girl talking. That's how they were able to do it. It's so easy to bust their nonsense.
This one we're going to hear. Now I'll play some more of No Fanfare in the bottom right quarter while the boosters are coasting back to the landing zone. Enjoy it and pay particular attention to the first 30 seconds.
Great news, Falcon Heavy, now in startup. We're now just waiting for the final call from the launch director.
let's jump ahead here.
Frozen, man. Nothing's happening.
Here we go.
Lift off.
15 seconds.
Everyone gets all excited, right?
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
His is gonna rise soon.
Yeah,
I'm 100 miles away.
from 100 miles away.
This is such nonsense. There it is. The 100-mile zoom right here. And it's going away from him too, so it's probably like 15,000 miles away already. In outer space. This guy zoomed the boosters in outer space. Don't we have the measurement below us?
Fanfare.
On the bottom left?
A lot of time and effort into this.
I think I see it.
It's got speed. It's a little cut off. Altitude is 8.4 kilometers right now.
Okay, it's not that far. It's already starting to curve down too, if anyone's looking.
Yeah, 1,185 miles an hour it's going right now. Away from him, 100 miles away.
The wrong thing by synchronizing on the audio.
And so
Got it clear on the shot right there. You can clearly make out the whole thing.
and watch. So
I guess things don't diminish in totality, eh?
we got to get to the separation and all.
You can see everything on his footage.
Yeah, like in these ones too. I mean, it's
great.
it's absurd. At 10 miles away, this is just a wavy mess.
Now it's crisp in their footage.
And so this is supposed to be a P1000 that Reds is using. Astronomy Live has got a telescope that he's using.
Booster boost back burns.
And so
Back burns.
Center core main engine.
they've got this absolutely...
Oh, it went gray. Smoke. Went fire to smoke instantly.
Here comes the separation. Look, all three.
Phenomenal.
And on your right hand screen, you can see the views from each of those side boosters.
A very respectable job with the camera there, Wally.
Getting all the compliments. So here's Astronomy Live, Reds, Wide Awake. And
They're almost the same size. Like the totality for being 100 miles away is amazing that it didn't get any shrinkage.
the mockery. So Astronomy Live's in there saying, glad my footage could come in handy. Right?
Left-handy, right?
Yeah, so Astronomy Live made the footage and gave it to Wide Awake, who's same team. So keep in mind, everybody, this is Jaren's boy. This is Fake Flat Earth.
Glowbusters guy.
They are putting out the disinformation from the Jaren, from the Fake Flat Earthers. They are supporting that these rockets are real. Jaren supports that the ISS, that he's filmed it. Karen B says she's filmed it. These are agents that are confirming the heliocentric nonsense. Right? If you can't see that, you're just too dumb and you deserve what you get. All right, that's...
It's sad.
So
That's all we can say.
it's the exact same team, everybody. Now, the way to debunk this is to look at what's the farthest we've ever seen. And it's this spot right here, the Ryegrass Safety Rest Area eastbound on I-90 out here. From this location, you can see both Mount Rainier and Mount Adams. And let me show that to you. So here's the confirmation of it.
At the same time. So the Earth is full.
All right, so this is a shell right here. What do you see 200 miles away? Nothing. Nobody sees anything 200 miles away. We're going to look at how far away these things are. And so
The Earth is flat. There's no way that the Earth is a ball.
there's Mount Rainier.
No way. Because the curvature just
There's Mount Adams.
doesn't make sense at all.
Curvature don't make
Rainier
a
and
sense.
So, if the mountains were leaning away, it might be proof of a sphere. But the fact that they're perpendicular still is a huge problem. Up and down still exists, and you need to have a plane for that. There's no up and down on a sphere, but you're going to take us to Google Earth here. We're going to do some measuring.
Yeah, so let's grab the measuring tool. And that, where is that? It's over here. It's pretty close to here. Looking for... There it is. So this is the rest area on the eastbound side of I-90 right here. That person was filming from right out here looking towards Mount Rainier. Oh no, it's set in kilometers now. I had this changed.
Right there, yeah.
All right, so we've got 74.18 miles. All right, that right there is a record. But if we measure from that rest stop to Mount Adams, which I gotta we've got just about 80 miles here. That is the record. So I want to show you what this looks like again from the rest shop. You've got Mount Adams, you've got Mount Rainier, but what I want to point out is over here is Mount St. Helens, which is no slouch of a hill itself. So you can see Mount Rainier, you can see Mount Adams. Let's look at the footage again. There's Mount Rainier. Mount Adams. This right here is the area where Mount St. Helens should be. I'll show you.
Isn't it weird?
What's the first clear day we can see both of them at the same? I've been here about 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't see them both at the same time.
NASA lies.
Alright, so you've got Mount Rainier here. You can see your frontal range that is obscuring up to this point. Now we can look at the size of the top of this. Do you think that if an airplane was sitting on top of this mountain right here, that you would be able to see it? That you'd be able to zoom in on it? I really don't think so. I really don't think so. This is... You can clearly see that the
mountain.
You can clearly see that the mountain is there. Let's go back to Adams over on the other side.
So Mount St. Helens, it basically proves that it's beyond the vanishing point of this observer. Now, if we were to raise an elevation with the same camera, there's a good chance that you might be able to bring it into view. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Plumb, level, and perpendicular to the plane. Not leaning away, because we can clearly not see it. So what we need is someone to go there and actually do a test and get a higher in elevation view. And then see if you can see. That will be the new record of 108, but you're going to have to rise in elevation to show the larger circle of sight on the plane.
Yeah, so that path right there, you can clearly see that it's this white-topped mountain area right here that's directly behind it. And if we go over to this view, it shows elevation a little bit nicer. Or is it the other one? Or I'm going to have to move. Yeah, I guess you can see elevation down here. Why is it in meters though? Well, basically you just look at the elevation here. We're at 757 meters. You can see that down there. And then if you go over to the Mount St. Helen, you're at 2385, 2415, 2452. That's the elevation here. That's showing down in the top lower right corner here. And then if you look at the range that's in between, you're looking at 2130. So Mount St. Helen is high enough to be seen, except that at the mileage here of
108.
Yeah, 108 miles, it's beyond the vanishing point. All right, you can tell from the footage here that there is no Mount St. Helens to be seen back here. It would be right back here. It's high enough to be seen above this ridge, but it's too far back. But like Ronnie said, if you went to this location and went up an elevation, then you should see Mount St. Helens then.
You would.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Same camera. You just need more elevation. And you would not see it leaning away, right? Again, the other thing that they had in their debunk was, oh, my picture's clear, and you could see that it's beyond the thing. Well, people need to understand the different axes. So we can see straight ahead to the mountain here. How far do you think it is left to right? Mm-hmm. We're looking for curvature forwards, right?
Yeah, this is
think that
80 miles this direction right here.
So which is longer, that direction or your left to right field of view? That'll be for another podcast. We can get into the axis and all this.
Absolutely.
There should be curvature on the right-left view, just as much, if not more. More curvature should be seen, especially when we're seeing this far.
these are the records. Try and top them. Anybody, we'd love to see it. But this blows away the next closest one. So it was one of the islands off of the coast of California was faintly seen at about 60 miles, and the CN Tower was said to have been seen between 50 and 55 miles away from a certain location under the perfect conditions. Right,
True. So we lost the video, but we did have it at one time.
Yeah, so this is the debunk of
Wide Awake.
Right? Because he's saying that he's filming this from over 100 miles away. I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to zoom in on something like that 100 miles away and see the of all the. This isn't real. He's just using Astronomy Live's CGI. He's a shill, an agent. Do you want to share the stuff that you were going to share, brother? This is pretty...
I guess we could quickly go through it if you want.
Sure.
Throw the thumbnail on, and then I'll do what I got to do.
Yeah. Go ahead and set up your share.
I guess we'll start in Final Cut.
Okay.
Let's go in there for a real quick second. We'll get this tied in. Oh, I want to show our messages, though. Wonder why that showed up. Can you see?
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Am I presented? Yeah.
You are.
So what we're looking at here is Curvell, right? This is what Mr. Sensible, excuse me, was trying to say that he lived on, which was a Curvell. So he was saying that he was measuring to the center of Earth and that it would form a flat curve, Curvell, opposed to what we believe. We live in a virtual reality, right? And C is our level, the middle point. So you have to know what up and down is, and that's what this device here tells you, the level. It tells you what's up and down. When it's perfectly level, the bubble stays in between the two lines, right? And you can see here clearly. So let's move on, and I'll quickly show everybody this question. Are you paying attention, Jason?
Mm-hmm.
Ask you a question. Now, I think this one could go to all ages. Which is the larger line? Is it from A to B here? Or is it from C to D? Jason, do you want to answer the question?
The larger line is C to D.
C to D, correct. It's obvious. Anybody could figure that out, right? So if Mr. Senseless, I'm going to call him that because he doesn't have any logical sense in his brain. If you could understand that he was showing a picture of a boat that was beyond the vanishing point and that it was curving that drastically, do you know how great the curve would have to be from line C to D? Right?
Yeah.
It's a simple question, and it's ridiculous that I even have to show this, but because they did what they did, we'll show what we have here. Again, you can see here clearly you get 21 miles this shot taken. The Earth is still flat, right? If there is no curvature at the x-axis, this one up here, right? It's impossible to have a curvature at the z-axis, this way here, further proving that we have a vanishing point and we live on a flat plane, and you just can't see anything that's gone beyond it, right? Because if it was a sphere, you would be able to measure the curvature on the x-axis, this one, right? Here's how we can move through reality. This is how we can model it. This is how Jason does modeling. You have a y, which is your up and down. That's how we use a plumb bob, right? Your plumb bob finds your y. And you have an x, and that's a level. That's your horizon. And then z is your distance forward and reverse. These are very simple things that you
But also level.
Level, yes. This one too, but you can change your axis. You can have it rotate up and down, all directions. This is how we measure everything in the sky, everything on the ground. And again, the simple point here that this meme is making is that if you're told that due to a ship sailing away that you see less of it from the bottom up is due to the curvature, then from the x-axis, just simple logic tells you that there would be a greater curve seen from your field of view left to right. And you'll never see that. You'll never see it. Your eyes are the best. If we were to take you up in a plane, you cannot see curvature from any altitude ever, right? The only times we see it is from a fisheye lens. So that was that. If you put the thumbnail back on, I'm going to go into the quick explanation as we dip our feet into the waters of the Mazaroth, or the constellations, or the crown in the sky, right? We're going to look into some of that. So let me know when you've got the
Thumbnails up. Thumbnails up.
Transition over to what we have here. And it's this one, and I am ready to go. Let's get into this. Tell me when I'm presented.
Got it.
So here we got the word Mazaroth, Hebrew transliteration. Mazaroth is what they say it is, the Yiddish, right? But we can find it here in the scriptures, and you can find it in the book of Job 38:32, and it says it literally means constellations, according to the 10th century biblical exegete. And then we go on down here to see why others actually interpret the word as garland of crowns. So the crowns of the earth are the stars that rotate around in the sky. But it's the context is that, yes, it's the astronomical constellations. It also refers to them as a house. And then you can see here from the book of Job, it says, canst thou bind the chains of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Canst thou lead forth, right, the Mazaroth, right, or the garland? Can thou lead forth the garland of crowns in their season? Canst thou guide the bear with her son? So we get the understanding of what we have here in the sky, right? The scriptures teach us that there's pictures that were put in the sky, right? And the creator was challenging Job, right? Oh, can you lead forth the stars in the sky? And obviously Job could not. Obviously none of us can. So moving on, we want to just understand what the Mazaroth is. So the purpose of the sun and the moon and the stars is given as being a calendar, right? It's a calendar to mark the days and years. That's what the sun and moon do. We've been covering that extensively here. Jason has the true calendar restored. And to be for signs, right? Signs in the sky, and to mark seasons. The seasons, presumably they are the 4 seasons, or the seasons of creation. We're going through seasons of creation, or aeons, or ages, and marked by the sun in the solstice and equinoxes. But also the constellations in the sky in which, quote, house, end quote, the sun is currently in. So we understand that when the sun is in certain houses, it's symbolic. For they are not only marked seasons, but they also serve as signs. For there shall be great signs in the heavens above, and wonders on the earth below. This is what we get from the scriptures. And when we go down, we can look here. This is really well laid out. I don't know why it jumps like that. Forgive me for that. We got Virgo, number 1 here listed. The virgin holding a branch and an ear of corn and the promised seed of woman. Number 2, we have Libra, which is the scales. The price deficient, balanced by the price that covers. We got Scorpio, the 3rd one, which is the scorpion. The attack of the enemy, the Redeemer's conflict, it says. 4 is Sagittarius, the archer, right? The gracious one, the Redeemer's triumph is what we're getting. So all of these interpretations are subject to constant review and changes. And the truth of it is the creator himself who put the stars there is the one who can explain it best. All we can do is just read, research, look at the scriptures, look at the pictures in the sky, and try to discern them with the hope that the Holy Spirit leads us into the truth. So, but I do find these pretty good, right? Capricornus is referred to as the sea goat, or the goat of atonement slain for the redeemed. Aquarius, obviously, if everybody doesn't know, the water bearer, the living waters of blessing poured forth for the redeemed. 7, we have Pisces, which is the fishes, which is known as the multitudes who will follow the blessing of the redeemed, right? Aries, the ram or lamb wounded and slain, the blessing of the redeemed consummated. We got Taurus, this is a big one. Taurus, the bull, the congregation of the judge and the coming judge of the entire earth and realm and heavens above. Gemini, the twins, 2 natures, right? The reign of the Prince of Peace. We're drawing a correlation to. We've got Cancer, which is the crab. I know they've put this gross human word onto it when people see it. The crab is a very, very, very special sign, okay? And what it is the assembly, the assembled together of the Redeemer's possessions that he's holding fast. And obviously last but not least is the Leo the lion, or the lion of the tribe of Judah, the consummated triumph of the Redeemer in the end, right? So these are the different houses in the sky, right? There's 12 of them, just like there's 12 apostles, right? You've got the 12 houses in the sky. You also have 12 tribes. These are how things are all likened unto the other thing, right? This is what we're trying to build. Again, the Mazaroth is the study of the houses in the sky. Christ said, in my Father's house there are many mansions, right? So we can look at here, and interestingly, what we get here, the crab sign, really interesting that we get Judah right here, just before Leo. You'll have Judah finding its place here. We can see other things down that we could discern. They got Levi down here with Pisces. But again, this is so you could put from 9 to 3, the Earth's horizon plane, right? And this wheel just spins through our circles of sight. And depending where you are, it'll be angled a little bit down or a little bit up, right? Everybody gets it. The line goes throughout the entire Earth, right? Nothing is hid from it. Everybody sees exactly what takes place in the sky. And you do have these pictures up there, right? Are you with me, Jay?
I am with you.
So that's pretty much what they're teaching. I think I skipped something that I wanted to point out at the bottom here. So what they have here is the purpose of the ages. So he takes a scripture from Ephesians 3:11, but what we have here is eternity past. In the beginning was Yahawah, right? And we have future eternity at the other end of the scale. Yahawah shall be all in all shall be Yahawah. And then what we get here is we have 3 dispensations broken down, right? We have the old covenant, which is the dispensation of the Father. We have the new covenant, which was the dispensation of the Son. And what we have here is the third one, the age to come, which is of Aquarius, and tabernacles, which is the dispensation of the Holy Spirit, right? Christ. So Aries, the old covenant, was the Father pointing the finger directly towards the Christ, which was his Son, that happened here at the new covenant cross, right? And then we have the age to come that we're now apparently, from all guesses and research done, we're heading into. We're in the year 5992. We're just about to turn into 5993, which would give us the last 7 years of the 120 Jubilees. This will be the last 7-year Shemitah of that cycle. So this is how they've got it laid out. And
Which should parallel the Great Tribulation of 7 years.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Pretty calculated. And lo and behold, the pictures in the sky do teach us that this is what's going on, right? We can go even deeper into that. We can look into other things. Like I said, tonight I just wanted to show people a basic intro to what we can be looking at. Strong right hand delivered to the crowd. Moses was called the deliverer. He was called Hawashai. That was Joshua. The one who came after Moses was called Yahawashai, the deliverer. Rather, he was the agent through whom Yahawah delivered his people was Joshua. Unfortunately, Moses didn't get to go in. But we can see they're constantly putting these different star constellations, right? The Ram, breaking of the bands. We get here Ram, number 8 on his charts, is seen breaking the bands of death and has been identified by all authors as representing Christ, right, performing the very act. So this is definitely pictures that we can draw correlations to in the sky, right, with what we have. This one here, he's putting things together on a compass. So we learned earlier that the tabernacle of encampment that was set up in the wilderness by Moses, right, was built on the northeast, southwest. Everything in this reality was created using your compass headings. And so what we have here is the different houses in the sky. And we've got 4 really important pictures or houses in the sky that we want to talk about. We get the scales, Libra, which is the redeemer of the house. We've got Ram, which is the resurrection of the houses. And we have the goat, which was the sacrifice. And the crab, again, I told you, is a very special sign in the sky, which is the deliverer, which is I should say Hawashai. That's what the Paleo Hebrew word for deliverer meant, was Yahawashai. That was Yah added to it meant Yahawah's salvation, right? So what this quick article does go on to say, the lion, the king of the beasts, right, is the king of beasts, and merely symbolizes, yes, Christ as king, right, who came down to fulfill all these things. So there's a correlation that the creator of this website has made here, and I think it's really interesting that we look at it for 1 second here. So what we have here, again, we've got these compass headings. We've got this twisted now. We don't have it centered on the Redeemer, the resurrection, deliverer, and the sacrifice. Now we have it on the scorpion, which is the judge. We got here Lord of Hosts is being attributed to the bull, the raw sound in the character in the Paleo Hebrew. And what we have is the water bearer. We're now using Aquarius, and we've got the Leo sign as the king. He's using this as his compass headings here. And it says, in conclusion, the proposal made in this article is that the zodiac constellations were actually designed to illustrate 12 distinct roles of Christ. And they seem to be correct here, is what they're finding. And it says the figures are excellent choices. If I zoom in, does that make it too big?
No, it's good.
The figures are excellent choices to symbolize those actual roles, if you look carefully at what we're showing. The 12 break into 3 sets of 4, right, which are equally spaced around the circle. Each set of 4 has one as a header and the other as 3 subdivisions of the heading, right? And then it says the constellations were reportedly revealed by an angel, right? That's obviously how you're going to get the truth, which would imply that they should be closely tied to Christ. The meetings are proposed in addition to formal work in this field, which has suggested that the constellation figures actually depict the entire gospel in chronological order. That's what the houses and the movements through the signs and the symbols in the sky actually mean. It's been a revolving story that was set up by the Father for his Son to redeem salvation, right? Through one man, all man fell, and through that Son, all man were redeemed. And it's a story of the King of creation. He was given that title, and it looks like you can pinpoint in the sky and you can find any of this out for yourself. Now, we're going to get into it a lot deeper as we move forward. This is just the first test run of it. Do you have anything that you want to say before I go on to the last link?
Mm-mm.
Do you get everything that I said? Was it clear?
Yeah, no, it was great.
Right. When you set this compass heading, I really, this one here is the age that Enoch spoke of, right? The King of Kings, Lord of Lords, cometh with 1,000th of his, armies. The judge, right? The bull, Lord of hosts, the raw, and water bearer. That's what we're moving into, the next age. So if everybody knows how to set their compass, you're going to be doing great in that age to come. Now, this is hilarious. If everyone's seeing on the screen right now, it says the Mazaroth or the Mazaroth game. Right. This is an interesting setup here. We're not going to zoom in too close because unfortunately it's not high enough resolution for me to read all this, but it says the Mazaroth game. I'll zoom in a little bit more. Maybe people can see it better. Is that too big?
No, it works.
The Mazaroth game, it says here, if we are living in a virtual reality game, it makes sense that there is an information players can use to know the rules and scenarios of the game. Since the main opponent, the Predator, managed in early stages of the game to conceal the rules and scenario details. So the scriptures speak that there would be a bunch of scriptures hidden. So the Christ himself was a parabolic key to the word or the scriptures, the holy inspired word. That's what he was called. It's a title of Christ's. They put him on a stake and killed him, and so too did they kill the truth of the holy inspired scriptures. We're fighting to bring them back now. But this game is supposing the same scenario. It says they have to be discovered or it becomes almost impossible to win and level up. You got to discover things to level up, it says. This is a very old game that has run for, probably like 6,000 years, meaning we are dealing with an extremely long time frame on human time, right? But it's a day in heaven, which is 1,000 years on earth. So it says the book of Job, said to be the oldest and most profound of manuscripts, could help us to understand the game now in the process of co-creation by the collective. They call it a daemon, controlled directly by the game developer or Yahawashai, the creator himself. So we get down here, it says the central theme of Job is our personal relationship with our creator, our heavenly father, who gets really lonely when we don't call home. So the number one rule it says that the players have to do in this game is they must call home at least once a day, or the creator starts making up all kinds. He gets mad when you don't check in. He gets upset, emotional. It says here, it doesn't matter how hard the game gets or how much you are sacrificing for you and your children, you still have to call home in the game. Okay. It says if you don't, the creator has been known, it says here, to send a sidekick to mess up the reality you've constructed for yourself. Prod you to remember to check in and make the creator privy to what you're up to. It says here the creator is, after all, also a player in the game, though there is a dimensional issue that makes interaction difficult for most. So it's easy to forget about the invisible, silent, powerful, all-knowing ally. But the creator wants to be part of all action. So we just have to keep a channel open so that the creator can tap into this 3D adventure. Calling home can only happen when we know the secret of fire and ice, it says. The secret of fire and ice is easy. It burns constantly, and even when you're not here, it is received by the creator and given back to you. So when you start the game again, you haven't leveled up. You actually have to repeat that level until you're able to level up. I'm going to stop it at that. What do you guys think of this game idea?
Well, I think it's stealing the storyline from this world. Right?
I thought it was really interesting, and I enjoyed it tonight. Great job, brother. It's interesting. We got the lion, we got the man, right? The redeemed, the beginning, sufferings of Christ, the Redeemer. I thought it was well done. I thought it was pretty clever, whoever made this up, right? We got the space and the measurements of New Jerusalem. Oh no, it's not a circus tent, right? But yeah, brother, I'm going to turn the screen share off if you want to take it away. Thank you everybody so much for tuning in. I hope everybody has a good week and you guys are productive and you're staying healthy and you're honoring your temple, which is where Yahawashai dwells inside you. Am I ready to end the screen share and you can screen share? Yeah. So I hope that we were able to all understand carefully how the x-axis works. And I really do hope that everyone was able to understand the 12 houses in the sky. That's what we're talking about, the different constellations that we're going to start to learn more about as we move forward.
Yeah, that was great. Understanding the zodiac. I mean, I know when I first started doing this research, it was in 2017 that we heard about the Revelation 12 sign. And I really first started contemplating that the story is being played out in the heavens. And we've been watching it like that ever since. But, it takes time to actually truly understand where these constellations are, when the luminaries are in them, when they're being highlighted by wandering stars, and all that kind of stuff. So it's been long enough that it's finally starting to sink in, and I'm starting to see it. I know you saw it much earlier than I did.
Well, I mean, I'm obsessed with it, okay? Truth be told. I've always been obsessed with the sky. It's beautiful. What else are we supposed to do here? So, I'm really excited to continue to learn more and allow the truth to just, if we make mistakes, we can be corrected. I'm really thankful for tonight that we were able to spend this time together. The end song is a good one. It's by the Prams. It's called Can't Sleep. Because I bet you there's tons of people that tune in. Any one of us that are, going through troubled times, we generally don't sleep well. And, it kind of matches. But so what are your takeaways, Jason, or anything that you wanted to say that I might be interrupting?
Well, I noticed that there was one part of the presentation that I missed, and it had to do with the graphic that shows the moon in motion, where I take it into motion and I show the shadow how it has to be going from the south to the north. And then I also show which way it'll show up on Earth. We didn't get into that, so that's going to be something that we'll do down the road here soon, and I'll get a chance to make sure that the graphics are all tuned up. It was just something I made today, so it'll probably be better if we do it down the road.
Yeah, we could fit so much more into another podcast too, I'd like to see that too. I'm excited to go through that stuff too. I like when we go in the modeling programs, obviously. But I enjoyed it. What were your strong takeaways from tonight? For me, I'll just quickly go first and give you a chance to think of your answer. Basically the fact that Mr. Sensible's footage showed nothing more than a little bit of barrel distortion, really not a very good camera. Everything that TJump had suggested that we use was just fantasy nonsense. And he was wrong about the whole dinosaur thing. He was wrong about this. His modeling programs can't be measured in any way. You couldn't even zoom into the Earth. So my takeaways were that everything that they gave us to look at was a lie, was nonsense, and everything. And I learned something tonight. And my last takeaway is that Wide Awake is an absolute clown trying to fool people that he can film something at 100 miles away, right? When you clearly showed with your Mount Rainier, Mount Adams footage that you can't film something at that distance.
Yep. Not going to happen. So you summed it perfectly. I'm not even going to step on that. It's been a wonderful night, brother. Where's the okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so at 9 p.m. Central, it's 10 p.m. on the RJ Shine. I got a premiere of a new mixtape. It's pretty good. I bend the boundaries with this. I go into a trap song and everything. If anybody wants, I can put the link in the chat here as the end song plays. If you're looking for some new music, I definitely think you should check it out. And that's just a shameless plug. I put a lot of heart and Marikai into this, and I hope people tune in.
Yeah, my plug is we're back on Awake Soul. So the community guideline strikes have faded, and we're going to be live here now. So The only place that you're going to be able to hear this is now not on Just Beyond Flat Earth, but it's on Awake Souls. Thanks for joining, everybody.
Here